Isabelle. I'm going to be teaching you our third class of Syntonics, aka Thinking Body. There's lots of information on the internet about the lineage of this work. Today we're going to work on the midline. We're on our third class. You can do these classes one after another in a sequence, or you can do them shuffled as you wish, although I do recommend that this class you do it after one of the two first classes. Thank you very much. So what we're doing here in a few words, we are paying attention to what the information in our body is, so our sensations, our feelings. So we're feeling and we are noticing, and then we are coordinating. Okay, so sometimes you might experience some kind of coordination challenge, but you know what? That is part of the work. We're building new neural pathways, or rekindling these pathways, rediscovering them and reawakening them. So be patient with yourself. You could have a bit of frustration or a bit of a reaction, and that's okay. The work is injury-free, so you don't have to worry about that. Make sure you keep breathing. It's just a joke. So let's start with something a little more challenging, a little funny today. So we're going to go to the wall. And we are going to, as we've been doing, we've been going through these different test positions. But the test position itself is also some kind of a workout for your nervous system and your body. Okay, so they go hand in hand. So the test position today, what's going to happen, I'm going to ask you to go to the wall, find a spot on the wall where you have enough space to press yourself into the wall. And we're going to hold that position for a bit of time. Okay, so it can be challenging, it can be very triggering in some ways, sometimes with a fight reaction. Try to keep breathing and try to stay with it for a bit, because a lot can happen in this position. Again, I can't tell you what to do, but there is no point in feeling like you're not achieving anything, because this is the first time you've done this position. Okay, so you just need to keep noticing, and as you notice, there's a feedback loop that's happening in yourself, in your body. You're gaining information, and your whole self, which is your body and your awareness, are bringing this information together to bring about some change. Okay? So you're going to press yourself in the wall. Your feet are glued together, and for this one, I'm going to take my socks off. Thank you. Because I need to show you what's happening with my feet. So I'm going to put my heels to the wall. My heels are touching the knuckle of the foot. So the second knuckle is touching. The toes are touching. The ankles are touching. My knees are touching. And then I'm going to put the inner part of my arm to my sides. And as I'm holding all these different points, I'm going to press my whole body into the wall. See how that goes. Usually it is a very challenging position. So before I start, I'm just going to say what I need to say, and then I'm going to do it, because I need my whole torso to do this. So you're going to press yourself into the wall, and you're going to try to make as much contact with your body, with your whole back, your legs, as you keep all these points together, and you want to be opening your arms towards the wall. So now I feel that I'm arching in my lower back. I'm looking for a way to push myself into the wall. So keep with it a little bit. Keep with it. Loosen your jaw. See where you're in pain, where you're compensating, where you're pulling, and you're going to try to press. Keep pressing. Keep trying to press the back of your body on the wall. There you go. See if there's points. So now if I push into my toes, my ankles, I'm feeling a bit more power to push myself. It's very stimulating for the pelvic floor. So see if there's something you can do with loosening your glutes, pushing your pubic bone forward. Push, 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 push. Open these shoulders, open that chest. Press that lower back, that waist into the wall. Keep your knees on the wall. Keep your legs on the wall. Okay, let that go. Quite the workout, eh? I'm sure you hate me right now. You're allowed. You can swear. You can totally swear at me. Take a few steps. Just see how this feels. And can you see, you probably even notice, like I'm just going to stand, let you look at me. You could go look at yourself in the mirror as well. How suddenly my position is way more upright and my chest isn't as collapsed, and I feel a lot of work happening without me having to force it. I feel a lot of weight happening in my quads and my pelvic floor. So you could do what you could do right now. You could pause the video, go to the wall again, try it again with keeping all these pointers. Try it a few times and see. Every time notice the difference in between the positions. So this is quite different from the two first classes where everything was very gentle. So there's part of this work that is quite challenging, very demanding, because as I've said in the previous video, when I let go of an unnecessary effort, there is some effort necessary somewhere. That's what we're figuring out with this very challenging position on the wall. Yeah, I'm doing it again because I love it. And so just open your arms open. Try to press, let that pubic bone move forward as you're pressing your knees, as you're pressing your toes, your ankles. There you go. I was moving my ankles away from each other. And let that go. Just stand in front of the wall for a little bit, eyes open or closed. And I'm sure that you can see that I'm way more upright, even now after a second time. I definitely feel like my power is, I have a lot of strength happening in my lower limbs, and my voice is even stronger. Okay? So this, today I wanted to pay attention to the midline quite a bit. So this position on the wall calls quite a bit of work from the midline. We're going to go into a complete different mode. We're going to go to the floor now. So again, I would like you to lie on the floor. And as in the previous video, so we're just going to lie on the floor. And just see how you're lying right now. And see how it is now. So even though in Thinking Body, Syntonics, we always go back pretty much to the same things, but what matters is that we're revisiting, we're rediscovering every time, and every time is different. So how am I lying on the floor now that I've stood on the wall like that, pressing my body? And you can even do the same test position on the floor. So you bring your legs together, your ankles, foot knuckles, toes, arms. So arms are rotated outwards towards the ceiling, hands are towards the ceiling. You're trying to press your lower back, your whole torso on the floor as you're opening your arms. So just try it very simply. So not as hard as when we were on the wall. Or maybe that's what you want to do. You could do that. Just see how it is. Then let that go. Just let yourself lie on the floor and see what your imprint is. Which parts of your body are pressing into the floor, which parts are lifting away. And is there any pressure adjustment you could make? So a lot of people complain about lower back pain, for example. For myself, I've noticed that a lot of the time when I'm lying on the floor and I have some back pain, I'm actually pressing and I can't feel that. So see if you can stop pressing and spread the pressure more to your torso. And you're going to bend your knees so that your legs are bent. you could extend your legs to find that optimal position of your femur into your hip bone. So you could do that a few times on each side. Make sure you're not lifting the side that's not extending. So you want to keep your pelvis level on the floor, and you can do that a few times each side. So you're dragging your foot. If your mat is dragging too, see if you can bypass that, because you don't want to lift your pelvis off the floor. You want it level. If you are lifting, just notice you are. See if you can, what you can stop doing. So can you stop lifting? So I'm going to do this one last time because I was noticing I was lifting this side. So the left side. There you go. That's a bit better. And just rest your torso on the floor. Palms to the ceiling. Your arms are out or open like this. And we're going to do something now that is called the constructive rest position. I've learned this exercise from Mabel Ellsworth Todd, from the Thinking Body, the book. Well, this is very calming for the nervous system and very balancing, but I guess we should investigate what we mean by that, balancing. It definitely brings to awareness what are the differences between each side. And we work towards evening the experience on both sides. So maybe that's what it means. So you're going to cross your arms on top of your chest. If possible, you're going to drop your hands on your shoulders. We haven't done any work on the shoulders, shoulder blades at this point. I'm keeping that for next class. But here is a good opportunity to notice what I'm doing with my shoulder blades and my shoulders. So there's a lot of habit there. We're sitting a lot, working at computers, looking down, and I know for myself, I do a lot of unnecessary work or habitual work with my shoulders, a lot of efforting. So I want to drop my shoulder blades into the floor, let them melt. This crossed arm position on the chest is sometimes hard to hold for some people. It was difficult for me for years until I found this way of doing it. So some people do it like this, but it's a little slippy. I like doing it like this. Sometimes some other people have to do it like this. So as long as your arms are crossed and that you can let your shoulders, the front and the back of your shoulders and the shoulder blades melt into the floor, you're good. And you could close your eyes for this one. I'm going to keep my eyes open, okay? So you're going to imagine that your body is divided in two. So let's imagine that midline that's starting on top of your head, and that is drawing a line across your face in the middle of your forehead, on the bridge of your nose, in the middle. So I'm drawing it with my fingers so you can see it. You can simply imagine it. So across your chin, down your sternum, down your throat, down your sternum, along your across your navel, excuse me, I'm French, and then right down to your pubic bone. So you've got this nice big line that is dividing your body into the left side and the right side. So what we're going to do right now is we're on our out breath, we're going to press on one side at a time. So very lateralized work. So I'm going to start with the left. On my out breath, I'm going to press my whole left side into the floor. That includes my pelvis, my waist, my lower back, my shoulder blade, even my skull. I'm pressing the whole side of my body into the floor. Then when I breathe in, so I just took a breath in, I release that, and then I move on to the other side. And as I breathe out, I'm going to press the whole other side. I'm noticing that I'm adding a bit of pressure into my foot as well, my right foot. So that can happen too. In breath, you let that be. And then the out breath, next out breath, you move on and you're alternating sides. So I'm on the left side now. And notice as you do this and you're getting into this movement, notice how different both sides are. Make sure you're dropping these shoulder blades into the floor. So I'm dropping my right shoulder blades a bit more. I tend to grip into that shoulder quite a bit. Breathe in, move on to the other side. And notice if you could, so notice the difference in between the sides, but notice also if you could even out the pressure all through that side. So there might be a place where you're pressing more or less. Try to figure out how you could make that pressure even. Breath in, you're moving on to the other side. Your neck is long, your chin is towards the ceiling. Keep breathing out. Do this in your own rhythm, of course. You don't have to mimic my own rhythm because we all have a different rhythm. I just noticed I was lifting my right side, so I can stop that. Let the right side rest as you're pressing the left side or the reverse. And again, see if you can even out that pressure through the whole torso. I might have mentioned already, but we can forget that, or I can forget that. You can press that side of your skull as well into the floor. But please, without gripping into your neck or without digging your chin into your neck. Keep your neck long and free. A few more times. And if you need to, you could do this, you could pause the video and do it for a bit longer. So I'm going to do one last time on the right side. So I was just gripping into my abdomen. I don't need to do that. Notice if you're doing that, and if you can just let your abdomen just be very soft and loose. There you go. And then you can stop that. Stay where you are. Just drop your arms to the floor. And take a little time to notice how your torso is and how you feel now in your whole torso. I definitely feel my midline more, so I'm more aware of it. And feels like there's a concentration of activity in the middle of my body. So I'm going to do one last thing before we go today. That's again going to be interesting for the midline. And remember, you could always, or I recommend that after this class, you go spend a few minutes and write whatever came to you, whatever appeared to you or you noticed that was an interesting discovery for you. And so the next thing we're going to do, we are going to do one leg at a time. So I'm going to start with the left side. So I'm going to open up my leg, but as I do this, I open my leg on my out breath. I want to keep my pelvis level on the floor, and I want to keep my foot in contact with the floor at all times. And as I do that, I really want to feel my whole upper torso in contact with the floor. I don't want to be lifting off or working with the middle of my body or my shoulders. I want everything lying on the floor, lying as much as possible. So out breath, I'm going to open up my leg, and remember, it's not about ambition. You're putting yourself into action. You're doing this action, and you want to notice what you can do and how you can do it with less effort. So how can you do it better with more range? But don't force it. You want to find a way to allow this to happen. So notice if you're arching in your back, and see if bringing your lower back closer to the floor will allow you to go a bit further. Breathe in, bring your leg back, and breathe out. You see, I'm already going a bit further. Make sure you keep your hips level, your neck is long, your chin is going towards the ceiling or pointing towards the ceiling. A few times. And you could do this a little longer at home. So when you do this, what's important is not what you achieve. It's what you notice when you're doing this. So noticing that as I'm moving through this movement, opening, I'm starting to grip into my back. So I'm going to stop doing that and see what happens. I'm also gripping at the front of my body. So I'm going to stop that. And oh, oops, you notice I can go a little further. A couple more times. Okay, let that be. How does that feel in your left side? Let's do the right side. So right now I feel quite a bit of a difference in the right side and left side. It's as if the left side has been oiled and there's more space in my hip, and it feels as if the right side is asleep and compact. So on my out breath, I'm going to open up my right knee. Keep your hips level on the floor, your whole pelvis level, lying on the floor. Your lower back is long, touching in contact with the floor. So on your out breath, you're opening. And see how you can go a bit further, explore a bit further, and how would that happen? What do you need to allow? Where do you need to stop gripping, and where do you need to maybe hold or press? So if I press, or if I feel my shoulder blades in the floor and I let them drop into the floor, suddenly I've got a centimeter more. Remember to keep your whole foot on the floor. So my big toe is on the floor at all times when I'm opening this. Notice if you're gripping anywhere in your shoulders, your neck. So you can do this a couple more times at home. And when you're done, just lie on your back for a few instants. And slowly make your way. I'm going a little fast for you right now, so take your time. Make your way to standing. When you go up, look for a way to get up that's very flowy, as effortless as possible, and let yourself arrive on your feet. You might need to close your eyes a bit or keep them open. And then you're going to take a few steps. And notice how this is for you in your body. And that's it for our third class. Thank you very much for coming to class and moving with me. Next class we'll be working on upper body, shoulders, shoulder blades, arms. See you soon.